Once again to the International Kitchen, where delicious foods and fascinating people gather. Your host, Nino J. Martin, creates tantalizing and mouth-watering dishes from around the world designed to fit the schedule of a busy yet creative chef. Take time to treat your palate to an astounding array of worldwide cuisine from the International Kitchen. And now, here's Nino.
45, right. Well, that was all together. Aloha. How are you? Nice to have you back with us again on the International Kitchen. Hope you had a pleasant week. We certainly have, and I think it's going to be wonderful having you here for the next half hour or so. We're going to be doing some great cooking. Particularly, we're going to be doing some German classic cooking. And to show us how to do it, we have invited a young lady who was born in Frankfurt, Germany. Now, you can't get any more German than that. Both German parents there in Frankfurt, and she came over here, and she's also an artist. And she does animal portraits, and we'll be talking to her about all that. And she came to Hawaii about 5 years ago, and she's made Hawaii her home, and she's happy to come on the program and share 3 classic German dishes. And I'd like to have you meet Eva Schuhmacher. How are you, Eva?
Just fine, thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Schuhmacher. Now that means maker of shoes?
Maker of shoes, yes. Of course, I have no way of knowing whether that actually is in my family background, but I assume that a lot of families were named after the occupation of their, the head of the family.
Now,
So,
you didn't have any shoemakers in your family?
not in my immediate family, no. My grandfather was a silk manufacturer back in Belgium.
But you inherited the name and off you go?
Yes.
You're not home tapping and making shoes
No,
at home?
no.
Okay. Now, you were born in Frankfurt, and I suppose
During the Hitler era.
So you remember the war?
Yes, I do.
And that must have been pretty terrible?
Well, it was, but all is well that ends well, and I remember one of my fondest memories is the Day of Liberation.
And what happened then?
Well, I saw the big tanks rolling down the little street that I was living in, and everybody said, well, this is the enemy, and you got to watch out, they're gonna hurt us. Because you got to hang white sheets out of your window to indicate that you're surrendering, you know. Everybody was scared. And lo and behold, instead of having to be afraid of the Americans, what they did, they gave us candy bars. For the first time in my life, I tasted a sea ration candy bar.
What was your reaction to that?
Oh, it was wonderful, because they were this fat, you know.
Oh,
they were just fantastic. And I must admit, that's the time when I fell in love with America.
So I guess, really, you were really glad it was all over, and there was really no way of winning it, and it was terrible.
It was hopeless.
Did you know about all that was happening with the camps and all this?
We didn't know exactly what was going on. We knew something wasn't right, because I remember there were some neighbors of ours who were actually taken away in some padded wagons, so to speak. But they told us they were being relocated in another area, so we had no way of suspecting. And it was a terrible shock.
Well, through all this, you still maintained your cuisine, and you learned how to cook properly from your grandmother, was it?
No, my mother.
Your
my
mother.
mother primarily.
And
my auntie.
she taught you how to make these 3 recipes. We're going to be doing a lentil soup today, which is very high in protein and very nutritious. Some stuffed cabbage and sauerkraut, which is, of course, traditional. You can't say German without saying sauerkraut.
Exactly.
And also the classic German potato salad.
That's
so we're going to be doing all 3
hot
of
potato
those.
salad.
Hot potato salad. So what do we begin with?
Okay, now the lentil soup, I like to get the broth started with a couple of soup bones about a half hour before
and we have that going right here. And if you just want to take a look quickly, these are just 2...
These are 2 soup bones.
What part of the beef?
Well,
just the knuckles?
It seems to be the hip bone of...
The hip.
Yeah, right there. It's sawed right in half. Anyway, it has a nice amount of fat in it, you know, it gives it enough of a flavor. Cook that for at least a half an hour to get the flavor out of it. Then, after that, then you add about 3/4 of a pound or 12 ounces of lentils.
Oh, we're ready to do that right now then.
Right into that, yes.
And that's been boiling for about 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes to half an hour, yes. The longer you boil it, the more flavor you get out of it. Okay, so you add about 12 ounces of that. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme leaves.
Thyme?
Yes, very important.
You can also use say about 1.5 teaspoons or 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme.
Yes, you could. Yes, if you have it available.
And one...
but I wouldn't use the powdered. I like to use the leaves. And then 1 bay leaf approximately, a medium-sized bay leaf.
1 medium-sized bay leaf.
Yes, and
again,
for extra
if you have
flavor,
it fresh, we're trying to encourage people to use fresh herbs and spices as
well,
much
they
as
do
possible.
grow in Hawaii. Bay leaves do grow in Hawaii.
In fact, I have a little tree at home.
Yeah. So.
And here you've got some leeks.
Yeah, here I have one leek. Now, this is not a very well-known vegetable in Hawaii, but it's a member of the onion family, and they're very popular in Europe, very popular.
One thing I might caution people, when you clean them, make sure that you clean them well, because down at the bottom of this, I don't know if this one has it in particular, but at the bottom, normally they have a lot of
yeah, the sand will accumulate in here.
So
this one's kind of clean.
So you want to make sure that you really take them apart cleanly, wash them, and then cut them up.
Right.
So that's just one leek.
No.
Like
you wouldn't use the top part. I'd say you stop about here.
About
just
like that.
Yeah,
then.
and the rest you'd probably throw away.
Right, so about
too tough and too bitter.
5-6 inches of leek.
Right.
All right.
So okay, that goes in here, and it'll float on top very beautifully.
And that will give that lentil soup a very fine flavor. How far back does this recipe go?
Oh, my goodness.
Old recipe?
I really don't know, but it's something I remember not ever eating not eating, you know. It is something
Always,
that,
since you were a child.
Since I was a child.
Well, that was just a few years ago, of course.
Oh, thank you.
And here you have some...
I forgot the salt.
You want some
me.
salt?
Yes, I do need at least, let's see, a teaspoonful of salt.
All right.
Do you mind if I use pinches?
Pinch all you want.
Because, you know, an artistic chef doesn't really measure.
Of course. So about a teaspoon or so of
yeah,
salt.
that's approximately 2 teaspoons of salt right there.
Incidentally, I want to mention something here. A lot of people who watch our program on a regular basis say, my gosh, you use so much salt. And really we don't, and I'll tell you why. Because the camera in which we photograph this tends to reflect white more than the other colors. So when you go like this, which is less than look how much salt that looks like it's going in. So we're not really putting that much in. So in case those of you who do watch the program on a regular basis, and I do run into people and they say, my gosh, you put so much salt in there, and then I have to try to explain it. So now we've explained it to all of you, and you'll have a 10-point quiz at the end of the show.
This goes in at the very end. This goes in at the very end.
What is this?
This is chopped spinach, about a half a pound of chopped spinach. And you let it cook for, I'd say, 15 minutes. You don't want the lentils quite soft yet. You want a little bit of bite to them. Al dente, whatever you call that.
Al dente lentil, yes.
Right,
so there's a little
lentils.
resiliency, a little bite.
And yes, and then you take the bones out, and then you add this and cook it for another 5 minutes.
All right.
And then at the very end, a little bit of lemon juice. That gives a little extra tang.
Just that little roundness.
Okay.
All right, the next thing we're going to begin is the famous stuffed...
The sauerkraut and stuffed cabbage rolls. Now, sauerkraut in itself is, of course, cabbage. And I've made some of my own. I know how to make it. You just use Hawaiian salt and you stomp it, and then after a couple of weeks, it's sauerkraut. You don't do anything else to it. It's just fermented.
Without any vinegar?
Without vinegar.
Just does it all by
It's
itself?
just the fermentation process itself. Okay. So this is a 2-pound jar of
So you didn't make
salt.
this?
No, I
You're
didn't
cheating.
make. I didn't make this one.
You can just buy it in the
I'm
market.
out of cabbages right now. Last year I had a lot of cabbages in my garden, but this year nothing yet.
You grow everything yourself?
A lot of it, yeah. Like
All right.
the parsleys from my garden and the lemon and so forth.
So you put that on the bottom of the pan.
So this goes in the bottom of this pot. It's a 2-pound jar. I like the... Are you allowed to use brand names?
Well, just get plain old sauerkraut wherever you can find it.
All right.
That'll do.
Anyway,
Everyone
this...
has their favorite brand.
Yeah, this goes in the bottom, and you can heat it up a little bit because this is a rather slow and involved process. So the idea now is you heat this in a large pot, or you can also put it in an oven-proof dish. You see, and we have, a matter of fact, we have one that we can show later on. You put this into the bottom, and then on top of that go approximately 10 to 12 cabbage rolls filled with this meat mixture.
All right, why don't we go through the mixture here then, what that's going to be. You've got a little bit of lean ground beef.
This is extra lean.
Extra lean.
Right.
No fat in that. And then down here, how much of that do you have?
Yeah, this is 3/4 pound.
Okay, and this is ground...
This is ground pork, 3/4 of a pound. You see it makes up for the... This is extra lean and this is not so lean. Okay. And
this is something very wonderful. And if you want to just take a look at it, it's a big chunk of brown rye. And look at that. That is healthy bread, folks.
The German name is Bauernbrot. That means peasant bread.
Yes. And let me tell you, this is heavy. You could probably hammer a nail with this. 2
of these will carry you through the whole day.
Right.
No doubt about it.
And you just take a couple of slices of that and...
Yes, and I soaked them in a little water and I crumbled them up because, you know, if you don't put some kind of a filler into the meat, it all clumps together. So that's the idea. So I mix these together.
Well, we better start mixing.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, our guests will get here and we're still working in the kitchen.
Well,
also, we might point out
offer
that
them a drink or two.
in order to, that's right, in order to get your cabbage and roll the cabbage, you have to get a head of cabbage and you put it into water and boil it, and this is what you come out with.
Well, I'd say that get the pot as full as, it should be a deep one like that, and put it about 3/4 full of water, and then put the cabbage in for approximately 10 minutes. It needs to get limp like that, because
Right.
you cannot peel a leaf off a cabbage head without breaking it if it isn't limp like
And
this.
there you have it. It's a nice limp
Right.
cabbage, and you get about 12 of those.
Yeah, you get about 12 of those, okay? And then, let's see.
Now, while you're doing that and doing...
Okay. Do you want me to tell more about the ingredients? What else goes in? Or
What else?
Okay. Supposed to use 1 large egg or 2 very small ones.
Look at the size of these eggs.
Now, these
are the smallest eggs.
They're pullet eggs. This is a
Something?
a hen that's just begun to lay.
Yes.
She's new on the job.
Poor thing. She doesn't know what is
Okay.
ahead of her.
Okay, and then approximately 1 medium-sized chopped onion goes in there. Okay.
And there's another flavor here
and
that
the-
you put in that is really quite unusual, and that is the caraway.
Well,
see,
that
you-
I would probably put onto the sauerkraut.
Right now, you want to put it on?
No, later on.
All
No,
right.
just before I put the rolls on.
All right.
Okay, yeah. This, I think caraway is about almost necessary in a sauerkraut.
Very unusual flavor.
Yeah. And
Right.
you-
While you're mixing all that together, now you're putting the breadcrumbs
okay, now
in.
goes the breadcrumbs, and I mix this together.
How about the tomato?
No, that
That's
comes
later
at
too.
the very end.
All right. Don't
Okay.
want to push it too fast here.
Okay.
Though. We are going to be making the German potato salad. And these potatoes were boiled, and they're cooking potatoes. Remember, salad potatoes are the red ones. If you get the russet potatoes, they're going to be too powdery, and they'll fall apart on you. So you make sure that you get the red salad potatoes. They also make white salad potatoes. You can use those too. Now, we have about, 8, 9 potatoes here for an average family to serve about 4. And I'm just going to peel these and then show you how to cut them up properly and make the salad for you. Now, you're just about ready to roll the... where'd you go? Down the basement.
Sorry, I dropped something. Okay.
You're just about ready to roll everything there.
Yes, I am. Again, a pinch of salt. And let's see, there's a little bit of pepper. I think salt you almost have to use to your own taste, because, you know, some people like a lot and some like just a little and some can't eat any. So I think you have to adjust that to your own individual tastes.
Well, actually, you know, it's very easy to cut salt out. You just get used to it.
Yeah, you can use more spices.
Well,
Yeah.
not even that. I mean, after a while, your taste
Yeah.
buds just don't require it anymore.
Okay, so this, I would attempt to divide this up into 10 to 12 portions here. And about the size of, well, a larger egg, about like this.
So we're probably only going to make about 4 or 5 of them, huh?
Yeah, right.
Now, I'm going to be slicing up these potatoes. Now, how thick do you want them? Or how should I slice them? Any particular
Okay,
way?
give me a sample.
You just want me to do it?
No, how would you slice it? Let me see.
Well, for a
I'd
German potato salad, the ones that I remember are about like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so that's about a quarter of an inch thick.
Because you like for them to remain intact as much as possible.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll just cut. So at least you know you're eating something when you're eating it. And I'm just going to cut these up very quickly. Some chunks here and there are good because it gives you a nice texture, doesn't it?
I agree.
So you are a painter, too.
Yes. I've always had a love for animals. I have never had a pet myself, but loved everybody else's. And just recently, I've decided that this is one thing that babies and animals is something that everybody's always interested in. And I do have some artistic ability, and I love to paint. And so I've started to do animal portraits, and I've already got 2 commissions, which I'm very happy about.
nice.
Yeah. And eventually like to get into something larger, like maybe horses or
Well, how do you
show
get
dogs.
them to stand still?
Well, you have to make them stand still for the camera. Let's put it that way. No, you need a lot of different shots.
You don't, you take pictures then?
Yeah, you can't
Oh,
do it
I
from
see. So
live.
you don't do them live models.
No, I do go and look at them and see what they look like for the eye color and so forth, but
Have you done exotic animals like a
Not yet.
lion or a tiger?
not yet. Okay. This is approximately, I would say, the size of a large egg. And what you do is very simple. You place it right in the middle of this leaf, which is supposed to be nice and limp and hopefully doesn't have any holes in it. Okay. And then the first thing you do is you roll it up from the sides like that. Okay. And then like this. And then you have a neat little roll, just like that. And I have here, you can use other kinds of thread, but I find this one to be better. It's embroidery thread, and it shows up very nicely, and it's approximately 2 feet long. And I like to wrap it around 2 times. And this is something that you like to remove before you serve it to your guests.
Colored threads, you can see it.
Yes, and that's why I use the green. You can see it, or sometimes I use red. Okay? So, now, you place this on top of the sauerkraut. I'm going to turn this on high here.
But how about those caraway? You going to put those in?
Oh, that's right. I've
got to remind you of that now.
Yes, you have to remind me. I seem to have a resistance to that.
Yes, okay. Can't let you just go away.
Okay. Now, you've seen these in rye bread, haven't you?
Yes.
And at the store, if you buy rye, it says either with or without seeds. So, anyway, I say 3 little pinches of that. That gives it a very special flavor. Okay.
Is it time to take these out, the bones out?
I would say so, yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and take those out then.
Yeah.
We might want to just take a look at this quickly. These are the bones that you take out.
Yeah, use this. I think this would be better.
Easier? And then you just let this boil for how long?
Well, you add the spinach, and that only takes maybe another 5 minutes to get soft.
So when do you add the spinach?
Right now. And you
All
may
right.
want to pick out the bay leaf as well while you're at it.
All right.
They're not supposed to be too good for you once they get into your alimentary canal, I understand. So
We wouldn't want that.
no. Okay.
And I'll
Actually-
add the spinach to that, and that'll be all done then, huh?
Yes, you add the spinach and put the cover back on and cook it another 5 minutes. I don't like to overcook my food.
Right. Not a good idea.
No.
I'll just stir
So-
that together.
So the easiest way to do this is to just roll it around 2 times like that and make a neat little tie knot right here. Just like that. And then when you take it out and serve it, you just pull it and take it right out. Okay? So
Now, I'm going to show them next how to make the salad here while you're doing that. And let me just go through the ingredients very quickly with you. Here are all the
Yes.
potatoes, and we've got, that's enough for about 4 or 5 people or more. And you want to make this ahead of time or just before you serve it?
No. This is something that's very important, that German potato salad should be served hot.
Hot. Okay, this
Right.
happens to be cold because we've
They should
had
be
them out
steaming
for a
hot
while.
potatoes at
but
this
normally
point,
you wouldn't.
right?
All right. In the potato salad, then, you would have the following ingredients. You have some chives and some onion, about
Mixed
2
together.
tablespoons of each of those.
Correct.
You have some pickles here, about, a 1/4 cup of pickles. This is just ordinary
A
pickle.
dill pickle.
Dill pickle.
Yeah.
Here you have about 3 tablespoons of crumbled, very
Lean.
well-fried bacon and drained. And about 3 tablespoons of, what is
That's
that?
vinegar.
White vinegar. White vinegar.
Now, it's better to use white because it has more acidity. It has 5%. The
All right.
cider vinegar has only 4%, so I like to use that one better.
And this is oil.
That's regular salad oil.
Okay, and that's about
a 1/3 of a cup.
1/3 of a cup. And here, just a little bit of salt to taste.
Plus a pinch of sugar.
A pinch of sugar.
Yes.
And here you've got about 1/3 of a cup or so.
No,
of-
it's half a cup.
half a cup of water with a dissolved bouillon.
That's correct. That
Cube.
gives it that special
A very
flavor.
special
Also
flavor.
makes it sort of soupy.
Do I just put everything together?
Yes, you mix the dressing together.
And in here?
No,
Do I just pour it
I'll
over?
put it into a separate little bowl. You can mix it in here if you wish.
All right. And then what do we do?
And then you pour it over it.
Oh, I see. All right. So here goes the oil. Everything goes into this little
Right.
container. A little bit of salt, and I'll just put that much in. A pinch of sugar. For all you sweet people out there, half a cup of water with a bouillon.
Again, that should be hot when you
Everything
make
hot.
it.
Pickles, tablespoon each of chives and minced onion. And about 3 tablespoons or so of minced bacon. Now you want me to, how about a little bit of pepper?
Yes, fine.
Pepper, no caraway seeds. Okay.
Oh, again, I don't really like them very much because I think
And
my
in
mother used them
goes-
too much.
And it goes right over the top.
Yes,
and I'm
you
going to
pour
mix
it right
now.
over it.
The whole thing.
And just pretend it's hot. And just mix it together.
It's very hot here. Just mix it all together.
Okay.
Gee, that's colorful, isn't it?
I love color in my cooking. I really do. I think it makes a lot of difference.
The classic potato salad. German, nice and hot and delicious.
I have nothing against mayonnaise, but somehow I like that one better.
I would imagine, though, you know, if you do this hot and then you leave it, the next day it would be really delicious.
Even better.
Yeah, because the potatoes will soak up all that flavor. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Nice color. Delicious, glistening, and mouth-watering. Good German potato salad.
Of course, you know what the German word for that is?
What?
Kartoffelsalat.
Kartoffelsalat?
Yeah, Kartoffelsalat. I used to teach German when I was living in Chicago at Berlitz.
Really? Do you teach German here at all? Or?
No, I don't teach it. There isn't much, for some reason, there isn't much of a market here. But on the East Coast, I found there were a lot of people that wanted to learn German, and also in the Midwest, but not here. Japanese is more popular.
So you're just
here.
Retired over here, just enjoying life,
yes.
huh?
I inherited some money out of the blue and bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii.
Well, I wish you'd tell me that connection to the blue, because I'd certainly like to inherit some money. I'm going to put a sprinkling of parsley on top of this, just to give it a little bit more
marvelous.
color. And that'll be fine. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. Lovely little salad, glistening and delicious, and you serve that along with the sauerkraut and your...
Bauernbrot.
Yes.
Oh, I think we're almost done
All
here.
right. Now we are ready to take this other little goodie out of the oven. I'm going to put some sour cream down right here because this is what is served with the stuffed cabbage. So I'll just put that on the side, and you can take it as you wish, the thyme, and we'll just put a little bit of parsley on that so you know that that exists up against the white.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the cabbage rolls now out of... Are you all set here?
Yes, I just want to show you what happens next.
All right. What happens next?
After you place all the cabbage rolls on top of the sauerkraut, then you take, I think it's a 12-ounce can, about approximately 2 cups, not quite 2 cups of V8 juice. Not regular tomato, but V8. It has all the... And you pour it right over it. Just like that.
Just over the top.
All the way, yeah. Try to cover it all.
I cannot tell you how good this smells.
Well...
It really smells very fine.
It's supposed to be appetizing.
Now let me show you...
we have to cover it, yes.
Let me show you this, because this is the moment of truth, Eva.
Ah.
Here it is, folks.
Okay.
Right out of the oven if you want to look at it. Ready, set, go. Come on in there and take a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And these are these magnificent cabbage rolls, all done steaming, piping hot. Do you remove that string or do you just leave it?
Well, it depends. If your guests can see it, it's quite obvious. They can just put it off
I think it's
themselves,
kind of colorful, and it's great if you want to do it during a holiday. You can put different color strings.
Yeah, I used the green on this one, or this
There
red
is
just fine.
sauerkraut down here, as you can see.
Right. And I need a little bit of that juice out of there.
All right, how much do you need?
Well, maybe about a cupful.
With the sauerkraut?
No.
You just want
That's okay. Why don't you serve that first?
All
And
right.
I'll get a slotted spoon, maybe?
There should be one there somewhere.
Yeah, here.
Because I'm going to leave this with you because I've got to get the soup served.
Okay.
And our guests are arriving in about 4 minutes.
Oi.
So that means, my dear, we got to get cooking here.
Okay. Right. I think, the soup is probably finished, I would guess.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and serve that.
Okay, so we serve the sauerkraut in this particular portion over here. By the way, they say sauerkraut is supposed to be very good for you. It's always considered to be a health food for some reason.
Look at this soup. Ooh, my. Just isn't that beautiful and rich? Look at all that lentil. And that is really good for you. There's a lot of protein in there. And this is actually, if you do it without the soup or the bones, you can do it with vegetables. You can have a vegetarian meal here.
It's very popular among vegetarians, yes.
I'm sure it is. I got to get a
Especially
hot
over
pad.
rice. You got your rice and lentils together, you got a complete protein, supposedly. Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm mixing together about 3/4 of a cup of sour cream with some of the juice it's in the bottom of this pot here. And that's going to be poured right over the cabbages. That gives it an extra little incredible flavor.
So you put a little bit of that on.
Yeah.
Reminding your guests now that there are little strings. There are strings attached to coming over to dinner.
Yes.
And so you have to detach the strings from there. You can, if you want to, be a little extra fancy, dress it up with some parsley on the sides to make it look kind of nice.
I was looking for some cherry tomatoes, but they all looked so pale, I just couldn't get myself to buy them.
Yes, anemic.
Very anemic.
All right.
Okay,
Is that everything now?
Yeah, just let me check and see how this is doing.
How does that one look?
Oh, it's a bit too
Now,
high.
actually, you take this now and you put it into the oven, right? Or did you tell us that already?
No, you can either cook it on top, just like this, and let it cook for approximately 45 minutes until the meat is done. Or you can put it into an oven-proof dish like that and cook it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, 325 to 350. Okay? Yeah, this should cook for about another half hour now.
All right, and here then is a completed German meal. We have a sauerkraut and stuffed cabbage and a beautiful hot German potato salad, and of course a very nutritious lentil soup. And you have to have some good dark rye bread. All prepared for you by our very special guest today, Eva Schuhmacher, the shoemaker's daughter, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming on and being with us.
Thank
you
you
for sharing these wonderful recipes. I learned quite a bit today.
Thank you, Nino. Enjoyed it.
And, well, thank you. And thank you for joining us on the International Kitchen. Give these recipes a try. I wish you were here to smell them because they're just great, and I think that they're convenient, too. You can make them ahead of time and set them aside for all your guests, and they'll be able to smell all the way down the block. Till next time around, you take care of yourself, and aloha.